And joining me now to discuss all of these latest developments is Itamar Yaar, a former deputy head of the National Security Council. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Itamar, it seems that the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has sharply escalated in recent days, certainly today. The IDF now issued a serious warning to residents of southern Lebanon to evacuate areas near Hezbollah infrastructure. This is the first time that they do this. We've seen such evacuation calls in Gaza, but not yet in Lebanon. What do you make of this?
First of all, I would like to say that the war is not against Lebanon, it's against Hezbollah. Having said that, I think that what is happening in the last few days send a message to the state of Lebanon, if there is such a state at all, but mainly to the public in Lebanon, that the situation that the Hezbollah hit Israel and the Israeli civilians, and in the other side, it's some kind of a private business of only fighters in Hezbollah, it's over. And what is the Israeli side try to do now is to try to do two things at the same time. First of all, to try to target all kind of Hezbollah facilities to avoid Hezbollah attacks. At the same time, it's some kind of a message to Iran and to Hezbollah that the price that they will pay if it will go on the same direction will be higher than expected. And we hope that the two kind of messages, a diplomatic message and using force, will convince the Iranians that the price is too high, and they will make sure that Hezbollah will stop attacking Israel.
Now, we're seeing these videos that the IDF has released about Hezbollah concealing missiles in residential areas. How much of a challenge does this pose for Israel's precision strike operations?
Look, it's not, these are not news. We knew about it for decades. The IDF had gathering information about these places, and you can assume that the attacks that were taken this morning were prepared long before. We knew Israel didn't have an interest to open a war in Lebanon along these years, but what is happening now convinced the Israeli decision makers that we don't have another choice. The only way to stop Hezbollah is to try to attack these kind of weapons, even if they are within civilian areas. Now, at the same time, what Israel is doing now is sending a message to the civilians. Look, according to the international law, we are willing to attack these places, and because of that, we try to convince you to leave these places to make sure that you will not be a part of this attack. These are exactly the rules of the international law. So Israel tried, first of all, to go according to these rules, and in the same time, to attack all these facilities to make sure that they will not target Israel.
In your opinion, will we be seeing a further escalation over the next 24, 48 hours in which Hezbollah would extend their range of missiles and place Israelis in shelters in additional parts of the country?
I'm sorry to say that I don't see a situation that this kind of attacks from both sides will be finished in the coming 24 hours or even 48 hours. I'm sure that the decision makers in Iran sit now around the table and check with themselves is the price that they are willing to pay, not only in the Hezbollah sense, but also in the Iranian sense. We need to remember something very important. In the end of the day, Iran established Hezbollah and support Hezbollah and supply weapons and training and all that. The main reason for it was to make sure that the Iranians will have Hezbollah as some kind of a threat against Israel thoughts to attack nuclear or Iran that is doing what they do to reach nuclear capability. And they don't. The strategic Iranian thinking will not allow them to lose all that only because a guy called Sinwar decided to explode the area a few months ago.
So I want to take you from the north down to the south to Gaza as well. It was revealed that Netanyahu might be considering a plan to turn northern Gaza into a military zone and essentially put a siege on Hamas in this area. What do we know about this, and what are your thoughts?
It's not enough, I think, for the state of Israel. And the prime minister that mentioned it yesterday didn't say that he will go for it. The only thing that he said was that, yes, he knows that there is some kind of idea, and this is one of the ideas that are on the table. I really, really believe and really, really hope that it's not a serious movement. I think that in the end of the day, Israel needs to try its best to try to have a deal in the south that will include the end of the war, the IDF troops out of Gaza, the hostages back home, prisoners will go back to the Palestinian areas, and it will help also to solve the problem in the north and in the other areas.
Itamar Yaar, thank you very much.
You're welcome.